Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to attempt to do a full project. On the last video, I did someone asked if I could do a full project with Nuxt for a new thing. I'm going to incorporate Strapi for the backend. Yes, we can look at the Nuxt server at some other time, but Strapi 5 is out, and I think we should test it out as well. So to get started, I'm going to create a folder and then create the front end and back end within that folder and then build out the tool. So give me 1 second. So here I have VS Code open and we have the backend folder and the front end folder. And I have both of them open in different VS Code instances. So I'm going to close this. And this is the backend folder. This is my VS Code theme for Strapi. And to get started, we're just going to open our terminal and run npx. I think it's create Strapi app latest. And we want to create it in this folder. So we'll just press full stop here and then press enter. And this should ask us if we want to download or install the latest version of the Create Strapi app CLI tool. And it's not found. Okay, so I typed in some rubbish. So let me just get it from here. So on the website, I'm just going to copy the command, open my backend folder again, paste that in, full stop. And let's see if it will work this time. And it does. So I'm going to press yes. It's going to do its thing. And then it's going to ask me a bunch of questions. All right, so that's done downloading. Uh, it should start asking questions now. I'm not sure what's happening. All right, there it is. So it's asking if you want to log in or sign up for Strapi Cloud. I'm going to skip that for now. Do you want to use a default database? I'm going to say yes. SQLite, but you can choose Postgres or MySQL if you want to. Do you want to start with example data? I'm going to say no. Do you want to start with TypeScript? I'm going to say yes. Install the dependencies with npm. I'm going to say yes to that as well. It's asking if I want to initialize a Git repository. I'm going to say no. This is going to be somewhat of a monorepo, so the Git repository will be initialized in the parent folder, right? So while this is being installed, I'm going to go ahead and open my front-end folder. So this is the Nuxt for app. So we can come here and say npx Nuxt at latest init, and that should create our Nuxt application and then ask us what package manager we want to use. I'm going to say npm, of course, and we're going to allow this to install as well. So when this is done, it's going to ask us if we want to initialize a Git repository. I'm going to say no here as well. The Git repository will be in the parent folder. So I think we should work on the backend first. So I'm going to go ahead and open the backend folder. And usually in my Strapi 4 projects, I would add a bunch of plugins by default. I can't do that with Strapi 5 because most of the plugins, they aren't ready for version 5 of Strapi. But a few of them are, or a few of them from version 4 are still compatible with Strapi 5. I'm going to go to the marketplace. So if I click on this link, okay, this link is broken. Let's hover and see what it's saying. So marketplace is trying to go to marketplace or Strapi. I don't think that's the actual URL. I think it's market. That's Strapi, but let me just search for it on Google. Yes, it's market.strapi.io, so that this needs to be updated. The first plugin I'm going to install is called init admin user. So what this plugin does is it creates the initial admin user for your Strapi admin panel. So Strapi comes with a dashboard, and usually when you run the app for the first time, it will ask you to create your first admin user. So in order to skip that step, I usually just install this plugin. So I'm gonna install it here, and I might get an error with the installation. Oh, it's not giving an error. That's strange. Usually some of the plugins are looking for version 4 of Strapi as a peer dependency. And if you will come across an error, all you need to do is just add the override to your package.json. So you can just tell every package that's coming in that, hey, you need to just use Strapi version 5. So you need to just duplicate this and bring it down to the override section. Cool. And I'm seeing a bunch of squigglies here, and this should not be the case. If you're wondering how I'm seeing the different versions that are available, I'm using an extension. I think it's called npm outdated. Where is it? Npm outdated, right? This one. And what it does, it just says, hey, this version that you have installed is outdated. So if I press Control and stop, it will tell us that we can actually update to the latest version or whatever. So I'm going to update online packages. There's an update for better SQLite 3. I think I can use the major version of that. I'm gonna go ahead and use the major version on the node types as well. I'm gonna run the install command again. So I'm gonna use me and wait for this to do its thing. What was this notification just now? Save your package and blah, 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 blah. No, close that. All right, cool. So everything in our package.json file looks good. So now we can actually get the configuration for admin user. So we're going to go ahead and copy this back to the backend folder, go to our .env file. We're just going to say admin user and paste it here. So I'm going to go ahead and say the username is, let's say John Doe for now. The admin password is going to be password looking like this. John for the first name, Doe for the last name. And we're just going to say John Doe at test.com. Cool. And one last thing that I usually add is the init admin true. This will just ensure that this plugin runs in a production environment. So just gonna paste it down here, save. And now we should start our application. Let me just go to the package.json. I'm going to change this to dev instead of develop. Run nr dev. And this should start up our application. So after the application gets started, we have some logs up here, and you can see where it's saying that the JWT secret was added to the .env file. So if we should check that out, it got concatenated down here. So let me just move it back this side. Yeah, it's saved. And the server got restarted when we changed the .env file. And then now we can see where the admin user was created with this email. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this and the password as well. And then I'm going to visit this URL. So go back to the browser and our application is loading. And it's up now and it's welcoming us to Strapi. So I'm going to clear this and grab that email from my clipboard. Here it is. And paste this password in. Right. Click remember me and then log in. And we should be good. So this is what the Strapi 5 dashboard looks like. It's very familiar to the version 4. I think the only difference I see thus far is we can't expand this. There is no option to expand this menu. So we're just gonna have to hover and see what the different options are. So this is the home screen, just general information, and where you can get help. This is the content manager, and this is where you create records inside of your database for the different collections that you've created. The media library. So this is where you can just upload stuff directly to your backend. One feature that I love about this is I think we can just, let's see if I can upload a random image from Unsplash. So I should be able to right click here, copy the image address, come to Strapi from URL, paste that in. Next, it's going to be broken, and this is because of the default setting for the middleware of Strapi. But if I should upload the assets, then you can see this is the actual image. So love this feature, always love this feature. Cool. Next we have the content type builder. This is where we get to modify the tables within our application. So they're referred to as collections in Strapi, but they're basically tables that get created in your database. So let's say I wanted to manage contacts in my application. I'm gonna say I want to make a contact collection. We can do the draft and publish. The draft and publish feature, I'm going to turn it off for this tutorial, but essentially it allows you to have like a draft version of each entry in your database table. So for this contact table that we're creating collection, if we wanted to keep a draft version and a published version separately, then we would enable this and then we'd be able to do so. I'm not the biggest fan of this, to be honest, so I'm just going to turn it off and continue. For each contact, we probably need our first name, and we want this to be required. Probably need a last name as well. This should be required too. An email. We probably want this to be required as well. Some phone number of sorts. Yeah, and we can leave it there, and then we just save this. And once this is done saving, we can actually go ahead and configure the view for this thing. So you're probably wondering, what view am I talking about? The view that I want to configure is this area. So let's say I don't like the look of this part when I'm creating a new contact. I can just come back to the content manager section, click on the table that I want to configure the view for, click on create new entry, and then from the drop down menu in the top right, we can select the configure view option, and this just allows us to configure how the fields will actually look in the admin panel here. Now, configuring this view won't actually change the name of the column, so it will still be called first name in your database. But we can actually just say we want this to be displayed as first name in the admin panel. We can add a description, the first name of contact. We can add a placeholder, so we can say example Gmail, something like that. We can change the size of the field, but we're not going to do that with that one. We can do the same thing for last name. So last name, the last name of the contact. And we can put an example here, right? Click finish. And we can do the same for email and phone. Then we just click save. Now, if we should go back, you can see where it looks a bit better on the admin side. So if you want to create a user that will be able to log into your Strapi backend to manage the data, then they'll actually see this, and it will make a bit more sense to them, right? So that's it for the contact. One more thing I want to add to the contact is an image. So let's just say this person has some image of the sort here. We can add a single image, and it's the allowed types. We can just change this to be images only, right? So we can do that, finish, save. And once that's done, we can configure the view of the image as well. So if we don't want it down here, we want it at the top, we can just come back here, configure the view, move this to the top. And of course, now we have some distortion happening here. I need this to be over here, right? And this should be up here. Good. So I can say I want the image to be full width. So I'm going to save that. And if I should come back here now, we can see that this is what the image looks like. Yeah. So now we have the contact table or collection in our backend, and we want to create the front end to basically pull all the records, update and delete all the contacts here. Before I do so, I'm going to go into the settings of Strapi, and I'm going to look at the roles that's located under users and permissions plugin. So the roles right now, we can see we have two of them by default. We have the public and the authenticated role. So the public role, this is the role that everybody has by default. And you can say what actions you want the public to perform on the different entities in your Strapi backend. So for contact, I don't want the public to do anything. I don't want them to create, find, update, delete, or find one contact. No. The only thing I want them to be able to do, the public, is probably sign up for my application. And even that, I don't think is the best idea for a personal application like this. But we're gonna leave these on just to demonstrate how we can actually create an account and sign in to our application, just for demonstration purposes. As it relates to the authenticated user, we want this person to be able to do all of these, right? And if you wanted to, restrict access further to different roles, you can actually create your own role and give them their own set of permissions. But for now, for this demonstration, we're going to use the authenticated role as the admin role. Bad practice, don't do this in production. Create an admin role and then give that admin permission to do different things on the different collection. So for contact, they're gonna do everything. We're not gonna be sending any emails from the front end, so I don't need to allow that. For upload, I want admin to be able to perform all these actions as well. And another thing is I want the admin person to be able to find the roles and I want them to be able to find the users as well. Do I? No, no, I'm gonna leave these off, but definitely want them to find the rules. So I'm gonna go ahead and save, right? And let's see, is that it? I think that is it for the backend configuration for now. Let's jump into the front end part of things and structure our Nuxt for application to work with Strapi. So this is the Nuxt for app. The first thing we want to do is come to the config. We're going to update the future object inside of our Nuxt config file. This is not giving me TypeScript help. So let me save that and try again. Oh, there we go. And the future object, the property that we want to update is the compatibility version. We're going to set that to 4. Then we're going to create the app folder. And we're going to move our app.view inside of this folder. Yeah. We also, let me just reload this page or reload this instance. We also want to create the different folders that we may need. Yeah. So we are going to say, let's see, how are we going to do this? We're going to right click an empty area over the Explorer side, and we're going to select Nuxt project structure from the menu. And this option is available because I have the Nuxt extension installed. So this one right here, right? If you're doing Nuxt development, you definitely need this extension. So right click again, the structure that we need, assets, components, composables. Do we need layouts? I think we do. So let's just go ahead and check this off. Layouts, middleware, pages, plugins, and stores and utils. I think we need all of those because we are going to use Pinia in this front end right here. So with all of these folders created, I'm going to go ahead and select them all. Pages, plugins, store, utils, and I'm going to drag and drop them inside of this app folder. Good. Next thing we want to do is to add UI thing to our project. So I'm going to say npx yes UI thing latest init. And this is just going to ask us a bunch of questions about how we want to configure our application to use UI thing. So we're going to select the theme. I'm going to go with blue. Where's blue? Blue. I'm going to tell it where to store my Tailwind CSS file. The default is at assets, this part right here, but I want to change that to app. And then the assets CSS Tailwind CSS file. So it will be stored here inside of this folder. Next, we want our Tailwind config to be at the root of our project. So I'm going to use that default answer. I want my components to be stored inside the app folder as well. So I'm going to say app and paste that in. Same thing for the composables. Let me just copy this, say app, paste that in, app/plugins, app/utils. I'm going to tell the CLI to just override any file that's coming in if it already exists. Yes, I want to use a default file name for components, and I'm using npm. So that's going to install all the dependencies. You can see where the CSS file was injected into this folder. The UI folder was created in the components folder. Nothing in composables and nothing in utils or plugins just yet. But we do have this UI thing config file, and this is what we will actually use whenever we are interacting with the UI thing CLI. It also added some configuration to our Nuxt config file. So we're going to just allow that to install. It's running the post install script now. So that's the prepare command. And it's formatting the files with Prettier at this point in time, and it should be done. Yep. And now we can start using the add command to add components to our Nuxt 4 project. And let me just go ahead and format this, like this in one line. This two. There we go. All right. So what do we want to do next? Next, we want to create our different pages. So I'm going to create a login page and a sign up page. Before that, let me go ahead and add some components that I think I might need. So I'm going to go to the package JSON file. I'm going to update this dependency. It's already installed anyways. And I'm going to add a new script down here called UI add. And it's going to be npx yes UI thing latest add. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and run this script. And then I'm going to choose the different components that I might need. So I think I will need, let's just go down the list. I might need button, definitely. I will need, will I need a card? Not really. Container, maybe. Data table for displaying our contacts, definitely. Let's see, dialogue. I think I might need the alert dialogue as well. Yeah. Let's just come down the list. What else? The divider. Do I need a jar? I don't think so. Let's see. The scroll area, definitely need this. For a sidebar menu. What else do I need? The sheet for mobile sidebar. And let's see. Do I need anything else? Oh, I need the form elements. So let's see, the tooltip, can add that as well. May not use it, but yeah, we're not working with any currency. I don't need the currency inputs. Need the V input for sure. V multi-select maybe. Probably need a text area of the sort. And we definitely need Sana. So we're gonna press enter after selecting all of those components. It's going to ask us to install the dependencies for the different packages, or if you want to, I'm going to say yes. It's going to install the dependencies, and then we can start creating our pages. So after the installation is done, we have a little reminder down here telling us to add the view center to our app.view file. So I'm going to close that out. I'm going to search for the app.view file. I'm going to add view center to it. So I'm going to paste that here. And we also want to get rid of this welcome component and use the layout and then the Nuxt page. I also like adding the Nuxt loading indicator here. Cool. So that should be it for app.view file for now. We can close that. Close this. And yeah, I think we can close this as well. Let me just save that. Let's give our app a title. So call it app. I think that's good enough. Title template. Yep. Hit save. What's this? Oh, Nuxt. All right, so we can close this and let's create our pages. So we're gonna create a new page. It's gonna be an auth login index. So this is going to be our login page. And I'm just going to go ahead and go to the UI thing website, scroll down to the block section and get one of the pre-made login pages. Because yeah, anybody got time to be coding out a full login page right now? This thing is slow. Ugh. And nothing is showing up. Oh, there we go. So let me just reload this. So all the icons pop up. And yep, I've always experienced this issue with large Nuxt content projects. Once you hit a certain number of markdown files, this usually happens, but it's fine. Let's just copy the first example here. Let's copy this and go back to our, no, not the backend, front end, and paste it in. So get rid of all of this, paste that in. And of course, we're going to see some errors because we don't have yup installed. And I'm using vvalidate and yup. So I'm just going to go ahead and install both dependencies. So I can come here, search for yup, install that. And then I'm going to search for vvalidate yup and install it as well. And if you don't have this no dependencies extension installed, highly recommended. It's this one right here. It's called npm, and this allows you to just search for different packages and install them quickly in your project. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm not a big fan of having the validation inside of my view files. What I usually do is I create a utility, call it validations, and this is where I put all of my validation for Nuxt application. So I'm going to go ahead and bring this over to the validation file. I'm going to remove this. And then I'm going to bring this validation over to that file. So the login schema, I'm going to export it. And then I'm going to remove the type in here. And instead of using the schema like this, I'm going to use the to type schema. And this is coming from vvalidate. This should be auto imported, but it's not as yet, and that is because I need to run the prepare command. So let me just go ahead and run the Nuxt prepare command right here, and that should pick up on the different utilities and types in my Nuxt project. So while we're waiting on that to finish, we can just copy the login schema and pass it here. Once this command is finished, then these squigglies should go away. There we go. They're gone. So now this value right here is fully typed. So you can see where it has email and password, and that's coming from the email and password properties inside of the schema. Cool. The next thing that we want to do is we want to add pinia to this application. So I'm going to go to the pinia website. Pinia, and this is pinia for Nuxt. I'm not a big fan of adding pinia like this, but I'm gonna copy the command. Open the terminal, and I'm going to paste it in. So npx Nuxt latest module add pinia. The issue with this is it's not installing the pinia dependency, and Nuxt pinia needs the pinia dependency to be installed. Um, Oddly enough, it didn't give me that error. Let me just check my node modules to see if pinia is there. And I'm not seeing it. Maybe it's at the top somewhere at pinia. Not sure. Ah, there it is. But we're not getting any errors, so that's a good sign. Going back to our config, let's see. Is there anything else that we need to add? No. Let's try running our application to see if it works. So we're gonna do nrdev. It's starting up. Oh, of course. So now I'm getting the pinia error. So I'm gonna close. I'm gonna terminate that, and I'm going to install pinia. So I'm gonna say pinia. I'm gonna install it. I'm going to try to run the application again. And I am getting the error again. So maybe I will need to add this to the package.json file. Let's see, let's search for that. So we're gonna paste this down here, save, and then I'm going to wait. Why am I not seeing pinia? Where's pinia in this? Oh, I can't install pinia. Why? Is there like some? Oh, I see. I see. I see. I see. I see. So I'm getting this error. Okay. Definitely need the override in this case. Pinia. So let's try installing Pinia again, and it gets added this time. So if we should run our application, it should work this time around. All right, no errors so far. So let's just open this in our browser, and we have a running application. Of course, the home page is showing nothing at all. We are going to fix that. Let's just come to our Nuxt application, and I'm not going to create anything on the index page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Nuxt that if someone tries to go to the home page, they should be rerouted to the login page. And we can just come to our Nuxt twig and add a route rule. So with the route rule object, we first put in quotation the path that we want to make the changes to, and then an object. I'm going to say I want to redirect anyone that comes to our homepage to r/login. I'm going to save that. It should restart the application. And then if I should go back to the home page right here, after the application starts up, it should take us directly to the login page. There we go. So we can no longer access this /route. Will just redirect us to the login page. So now we have the login page here. We're not going to do the forget password. We are going to allow you to create an account. So let's see. Going back here, we can come to the login page, right? Let's delete this. Oh, I think I need to zoom in, right? Yep, zoom in. So get rid of this forgot password link, and now we just have the um, don't have an account, create one link. So if I should click on this, you can see where vvalidate is working here. It's telling us that we should enter an email and a password. If you don't want this behavior, you can just add the required prop, right, to both of them. And now, instead of showing the error message, if someone clicks login, the native required thing will kick in and ask you to fill in the field. And if you start to enter rubbish, then vvalidate will tell you that this is an invalid email. Yeah. So now we can actually wire up pinia and connect to our Strapi backend. To help us with connecting to our API, I'm going to use the Nuxt Strapi module. Yeah, that's what it's called. There's Nuxt Strapi module. I'm going to click on get started after visiting the website, and I'm going to do npx. I'm going to copy this command. Copy this command, go back to our Nuxt app, stop the application from running, and we're going to paste that in. So this is just going to add the module to our Nuxt application. We're going to run the prepare command after, and then we are going to configure our Nuxt application to work with our Strapi backend. Yeah. So once the preparation is done, you can see where it's saying that our Strapi admin URL is here, because this is what it is by default. Strapi runs on port 1337 by default. So we're going to create the .env file, and we are going to add this variable to it. So we're going to copy the Strapi underscore URL variable, paste it in, and that should be this right here. So it should point to wherever your Strapi application is hosted. For us locally, it's localhost 1337. Cool. And then we can go to our Nuxt config and make changes to the Strapi object. So I'm going to come up here and say Strapi, and then we're going to set a few things. By default, the admin route is at /admin. For authentication, you can use object to tell the module what fields to pull in from the user, the logged in user from the Strapi application. So let's say you only want to return the username and email from your Strapi backend whenever you send the request to fetch the user. You can put those two fields in an array here. This populates property allows you to pass in an array of strings for the different, what do I call it? The different fields that you want to populate on the user object. So for me, this is always role. And if the user had like an image, you could put image here as well. So let me just show you in the admin panel what I'm talking about. So this user right here, right? If let's say I did a field to be the foreign key of some other collection in my backend, I could tell Nuxt to populate this field every time you're sending the request to fetch the user. Like I said, I added a role because this role, as you can see right here by this icon, it's a relation field. It has a relation with the role collection. You can edit that one directly here, but you can actually adjust the settings for different roles here, right? So it's related to this roles right here. Um, so back to the Nuxt application. Uh, let's see, what else do I want to configure? I want to configure the URL. We're setting that via the environment variable. We want to configure the cookie options, right? And I usually just change the max age here, and I want this to match whatever max age is on my Strapi backend. So let's say I want this to be valid, the cookie for the sign-in user to be valid for 20 days. I can go ahead and save that, but I will also need to make the changes in my backend. So if we go to the Strapi documentation, the developers docs, and we go to using plugins, users and permissions, we should be able to change how long a user stays logged in for. Let me just find that real quick. Here it is. So we can update our plugins file that's in the config folder, and we can just copy this object here to say whenever the user is logged in, we want them to stay logged in for X amount of days. So we copy that, go to the backend, go to config, plugins, and inside of this section right here, we can just paste that configuration, and we want to say 20 days. And this will actually match what we have on the front end. Save that, the server for Strapi will restart, and this configuration will be applied. Cool. So back to the front end. I don't think we need anything else for Strapi configuration here. So now we can actually go about creating our authentication store. So I'm going to right click on this stores folder, select new store. I'm going to call it Auth. And you can see where we have the use Auth store here. We can actually remove this because it's auto imported. And we want to add the hot module replacement to this store. So if you come back to the pinia docs, come down to the hot module replacement, we can just copy this bit from down here, paste it down here, and we want to pass in the name of the store right here. Yeah, cool. So now that we have Strapi installed, is the application running? No. So let's see. We are going to use some of the functions from Strapi. So the Strapi module gives us a few composables that we can use. In this store, we're going to use the Strapi Auth composable. Yeah. Then from this, we're going to pull out the login. I think I need a login function, register function. What else? Do I need anything else? Maybe logout. Yeah, that should be it. And I'm going to just return these from the store. Yeah. The other thing we need is the actual user. So we're going to say use Strapi user, and we're going to return this user as well. Now, the type of the Strapi user, I don't like the default type that comes with the module. So what I like to do is I like to create a type file inside of my utils so that my types get auto imported throughout my application. And I'm going to say I want to export a type called user, and this type is going to be of the type Strapi user plus some additional properties or whatever other property I want to add to my user. So let's say on the back end, I added like a username to this type. The types provided by the Strapi module for Nuxt, it won't accommodate my custom type. So in order to fix that, we can actually pass a type to this right here, right? The default is Strapi user, but we can pass our own type. So I can come here and say, I want to import a type from the Nuxt.js Strapi, and I want this type to be the Strapi user type. So it's going to be the Strapi user and a role object. All right. This role object, we can create another type. So let's say it's role. I'm going to say type role is going to have a name, a description, a type, created at. So it's going to be a string or a date, and updated at. Oh, it might have an ID as well. So that's a number. And for Strapi version 5, I think all collection types have a document ID. Yeah. So we're going to save that. And now we can actually pass this type to our Strapi user right here. So we're getting the red squiggly because we need to run the application or run the prepare command. So I'm going to run the application. That way it will pick up on all of the different types in the project and get rid of this squiggly right here. And there we have it. That is gone. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come to the login page. All right, so back to the login page. We're setting the title of the page, the description, and now we're going to actually do the login in. So I'm going to say, I want to try catch. That's the first thing. And then I'm going to await, use Auth store, call the login function. And this login function requires the identifier, which will be your email, and the password, which will be the password that's passed in, right? After logging in, we want to, greet the user or tell the user that, hey, you logged in successfully. So we're gonna use the use Sana composable for that. And let's see what else. If we get an error, we want to say use Sana error, and we're gonna say unable in. And for the description, we just want to say, please check your email and password and try again. We're going to save that. We also want this to be displayed a little bit longer. So we're going to up the duration. So if we come back to our page right here, it's going to reload. We should be able to put in an email and the password and click login. Oh, email, password, login. And we tried to log in and we were unsuccessful. Obviously, because this isn't a real user in our backend. But if we should create this user manually, so let's go back to our content manager, Strapi. Let's come to user, create a new entry. Let's just use this as the username and email. All right. Give them a role of authenticated. We're going to say they're confirmed. We should save this. Come back to our application. Wait, what was the password? Same email. Okay, cool. So let's just paste that email in. We get logged in successfully. And now we should have the Strapi user in our Nuxt dev tool. So I'm going to go to settings. After opening the dev tool, expand the sidebar, close it when I'm clicking outside. We scroll down to payload, we have a Strapi user right here. And you can see where we have the document ID, we have the email, the username, all of the different properties, and the role is populated by default. If I did not configure the Strapi module, so let's go to the Nuxt config. If I did not put this populate right here for the role, then this role object would not be there. It would either be null or something like that. So we are able to log in. Great. Now we actually want to wire up the registration process, which will be the same thing. We're just gonna go ahead and right click on this folder right here, and I'm going to duplicate it and call it register. All right. For the login page, I'm going to say that if you want to create an account, you should go to register, save that, and jump over to our register page. So now this is going to say create an account, populate the form to create an account or something like that. We need the email, we need the username, and we need a password. So let's create another input for username. Type is going to be text. Name is going to be username. And the example is going to be John underscore note. Yeah, that should be good. I'm going to change it to say already have an account. Login. And this should go to our login page. I'm going to change the title here to be create account, and the description needs to be updated as well. Now for the validation schema for our login, we can actually just come here and make a copy of this and call it register schema. And because we already have the email and password inside of the schema, I'm just going to come here and say I want to use the login schema shape and then add whatever other properties I want to this one. So I'm just going to say I want username. That should be a string. I'm going to add a minimum of 3 characters to it as well. The label is going to be username. So now doing it like this will allow me to reuse the schema up here and add this additional property to it. So if I should hover over this, you can see where the type is email, password, and username. Cool. So we come back, we can close this. Oh, we can close this. I think we can close this too. We can come back to our register page, right? Replace this with our register schema, save that. And then now we're going to use the register function from our Auth store. And of course, we're getting errors because now it's requiring that we pass in different values. Yeah. So now it needs email, password, and username, and that's the exact shape of our value property that's coming in right here. So we just can pass it in like that. Cool. And now this should say something like your account was created successfully. You can now log into your account. This is bad because when you create an account with the Strapi Nuxt module, unless you have the email confirmation enabled in the backend, you will be automatically logged in. So you can just say something like welcome to the platform, something like that. Yeah. And I'm going to test this out. Let's update this as well. So fail to create accounts and show some message of the sort. I think the error message will be at error.error.message. And we have to change this type to any to get rid of the squigglies. Save that. Let's test this out. So we're gonna go to the application again, go to the create account page. I'm going to say John Doe is the username. The email is gonna be this John Doe. Paste that in again. Oh, this should say create account or register, not login. So I'm gonna fix that. So when we click this button, we should get this error message because we already have this user in our system. Yeah. So let me just go back to VS Code. Where's that button? The text should say create accounts. Yep, there we go. Yes. So now we can actually try, let's try creating it with a different user. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Very secure password. Let's just create this account. And you can see it says account created successfully. Welcome to the platform. And if we should open our Nuxt dev tool, inspect our Strapi user, you can see where this new user was loaded. Yeah. So great. Now that we are logged in, we do not want logged in users to be able to access the login and register page anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a middleware. So I'm going to right click on the middleware folder, select create new middleware. I'm going to call this one already logged in. So what the already logged in will do, I'm going to make it asynchronous. It will check to see if you are logged in. And if you are, it's going to push you to our admin area. So I probably, after creating this, I'm going to have to create the page that I want to get redirected to, right? One thing that I forgot to do in my Nuxt config is to enable the experimental feature called typed pages. So what this will do, it will help us whenever you're using any of the composables that have a link to a page in it. So like the navigate to, the use route, it will actually give us some help in entering the right page. I'm going to show you that in a minute. So I'm going to get the user from our pinia store, right? And in order to get a reactive value and keep it reactive, we need to use a helper function that's provided by pinia called store to refs. And we can pass in the name of the store that we want to get the ref from. And the ref that we want to get is user, right? We could also just go to the store and create a computed property to say the user is logged in or not, but that's not necessary. So we're going to say that if user.value, so if the user exists, then we're going to return await navigate to. And this is the help I was talking about earlier. So with the experimental type pages flag property enabled, we get this type of page help. Cool. So now it's only giving me these 2 pages because I only have these 2 pages in the application. So I'm gonna say go to admin contact. Now, of course, this isn't a page as yet, so we're gonna have to create this. So let me copy that and right click on pages, new page, paste that in. index. This should just say something like hello. Let's say it's just a user Strapi user dot value dot username. Yeah. So now we want to use this already logged in middleware only on specific pages. So we want to use it in our login page. So we're going to open that up. We're going to use the define page meta. And then we're going to say, we want to register a middleware. And that middleware is already logged in. So now we're going to copy it and paste it in the register page as well. And if we should visit our application and refresh this page, then you can see where we're taken to the admin contacts page. And we can go back. See, it just redirects us to this page. If we try to go back, if we try to enter the URL manually, then we just get redirected. So our middleware is working. Cool. We also want to protect this admin page, because if you're not logged in, you shouldn't be able to come here, right? Let me just demonstrate that. If I should, I'm going to add logout functionality soon, but for demonstration purposes, I'm going to clear the cookie that's storing our Strapi user. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to refresh the page. So now it's saying hello, and that username value is not there because we're not logged in anymore. If you should check the dev tools, where is it? Oh, there it is. You can see where we don't have a Strapi user anymore in the payload. Even in pinia, we don't have that user. Cool. So in order to protect this page, we're going to create another middleware. And I'm going to call this one admin.global. Yeah. And the .global just means that this should run on every single row. So I'm going to make it asynchronous. I'm going to get the user again from the Auth store. And I also want to get the URL. I want to check the URL that the person is trying to access. So I'm going to say const route is equal to, and this will be a regular expression. And I'm going to remove this back part. So if the route starts with /admin, we're going to test this against the path that the person is trying to go to. So this will return a Boolean value. So if the person is trying to enter anything, any URL that is this, then we're going to run this middleware. So I'm going to say if route and not user.value, I want you to be redirected to the login page. So I'm going to save that. I think I'll have to restart the application. I'm not sure. Let's just refresh and see. So refresh. Okay, I'm not sure what the error is. But now you can see where it redirected us to the login page. And if I should go back, it won't allow me to go back to that admin section. So again, if I try to enter it manually, it just kicks me off right away. Cool. So that's working. So now we are able to register. Let's try logging in. I don't remember the username for what's this? Actually, I want to leave. Yes, I want to leave. So Sally. It was Sally. Yes. Let me close this and this. So now I can pass that email in, enter Sally's password, hit login, and I am now logged in. But we're not getting redirected to our admin page. And to help us get redirected, I'm going to go to the register page. And after the account is created, I'm going to use router and go to 0. So what this will do is just refresh the page. And once you are logged in and you refresh the page, it will hit this middleware and it will say, oh, this person is logged in, send them to the admin page. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Hit save. And if I refresh now, it will actually take me to the admin page, but let me just demonstrate that again. Refresh. So now we can log in as Sally. And when we log in, we get redirected to the admin page. Cool. So that's working. So now our application is somewhat protected. What we're going to do is we're going to create a new layout now. So we can close all of these files. And in our app, we can go to layouts and create a new layout for admin. And I'm going to create a simple dashboard looking layout. I think this is anything special. So class, flex column. We're gonna add a nav bar at the top. Or do we want to do that? Do we want to do that? No, let's not make this flex. Let's make this grid. So grid. On mobile, it's gonna be grid calls 1. And then once you get to the medium screen and up, we're gonna add custom values here. So on medium, I want the sidebar to be, let's say 250 pixels. And we're gonna use the min max to set this to 0, 1 FR. I think this is what we need. This is what we need. Yep. And then for larger screens, so LG and up, we can set this to like 300. We're gonna use the aside right here. Give this full device height. Hidden on mobile, displayed on medium. And then we're gonna use gonna make sticky top 0, give it a Z index of about 20, give it a background color of our app's background color. And inside of this, we're gonna use the scroll area. And this scroll area is just so we have the nice little scroll bar in our sidebar. I think if we want to demonstrate this, we have to use a v4 and in like 100 a menu item. You can just save that. Let's see. Down here, now we need the container. So we're going to say wrap this main area in a container. I'm going to say we want this to be the main tag. So we're going to use the main tag for this. Now to apply this layout to a specific page, we have to come to the page, in our case, contact, and we can use define page emitter and say that we want our layout to be the admin layout. Now, nothing crashed. Let's go to here and refresh to see if it will take effect. And yes, it did. The only problem is that this isn't working as it should. So let's go back to our code. And I think we need to give this a height as well. Let's see. That did the trick. Yes, it did. So now we have this nice scroll bar here. Can add a border to this as well. So border right, and I guess add some padding. So padding top and bottom, we can add like 5 and px3. There we go. There we go. Nice. I don't like this. It's cutting off right here. Let's change that. Let's add a padding to the bottom only. Cool. Now in here, we're gonna display the name of the user. So it's gonna be welcome, and we're gonna get a user object from our store. So it's gonna be cons store ref. We're gonna say use auth store, and we're gonna get user, right? So this is gonna say welcome user.username. Oh, add some class to this. Want it to be semi-bold. Should we make this larger or smaller? Either ways. Give it some padding. So yeah, that should be good. And then we're gonna add a divider below it. Let's see what that looks like. Yep. And then we're gonna add the menu item. Now let's say this is flex column, and then we want the Nuxt link. This is going to go to admin contacts. I'm gonna say contacts. Probably need an icon here. We're gonna give this a name. We're gonna use lucid users. That works. So let's see what this looks like. Horrible, of course. Let's see. Do we want to use this or we want to use a button? Let's just use a button. Yeah, just use a button. Change the variant to ghost. Let's see what it looks like. Yep. Horrible. Let's add a class to it. Justify start. Let's add a class to this icon as well. Maybe let's justify and add some more gap between them. Oh, that's not bad. Of course, we should add some margin to the top of this. So margin about 6. There we go. That's fine. So what we want to add now is probably a navigation bar up here so that we can change the theme, color, and what else? Allow the user to log out. I don't know. So we're going to remove this. We're gonna add main here, and we're gonna add header right here. So we're gonna say that this should sit on top of everything. Do we want to make this sticky? No, I don't think that's necessary. We're gonna add a border to the bottom. Inside of this, we're gonna add the container. Right, we're gonna give it a class of flex item center, justify end to shift everything to the right, and we're gonna give it a height of 16. That works. So now let's see, we should be able to add some buttons here. So the UI button, the size is gonna be icon SM. The variant can be outlined. And then we're gonna add our icon. Name is gonna be Lucid Sun. Probably change the size to about 18. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, that's fine. One thing I didn't remember to add was a package called VWave. It gives that material ripple effect, right? So we're gonna install it. And then we're gonna go to our Nuxt config and we're gonna add it as a module here. So VWave Nuxt. Gonna save that. Then I'm going to go to my button components and I'm going to add the VWave directive to it. So this way, all of my buttons have that ripple effect. Cool. Next thing, I want to actually change the color mode whenever I click on this. So I'm going to say color mode dot preference is going to be equal to, and I'm going to check the current color mode and check the value and see if it's equal to dark. And if it is, I'm going to switch to light, else I'm going to go back to dark. So let's just reload the page and try this out. And there we go. So the ripple effect is working and we can switch the different color modes. All right, I'm having a problem with this. This isn't lined up properly. So I'm gonna have to bring this down a little bit more, probably by 2 pixels or 1. So that's the height of the header. 16, this is 64. So 66, maybe. It still needs one more. 67, 68. All right, that's cool. So now we have dark light mode working, and let's go for the login functionality. So let's see, we're gonna need a gap. So gap 3. Log out. Log out. Yep. And whenever I click this, I want to yeah, call the logout function. Of course, this is defined, so we're gonna say const logout. I don't even think this has to be asynchronous. We can just call use auth store logout. And after logging out, we're gonna reload the page. Once we reload the page, our middleware will kick in and it will actually redirect us to the sign-in page. Yeah. So if I should say log out, we're logged out and we can't go back. Cool. So now we can log in again as Sally. Here. Ooh, what's happening here? Did I Sally password login? Ah, there we go. So now we're logged back in. Can switch to dark light mode. Now we want to display our data finally from our backend. So that was all of the setting up. I think this should have a class once it's active. Yeah, let's add a class to this once it's active. So here we can actually just pass in the exact active class because this is rendering a Nuxt link. When you pass the to property to it, it will actually render a Nuxt link instead of just a button. So the element type on the component right here is based on the presence of the href or tools. So if any of these are present, it will actually render a Nuxt link. And Nuxt link allows us to pass an exact active class. So whenever this is active, I want the background to be secondary. So let's save that. And if you come back, you can see here now where that's actually working. Cool. And like I was saying, we need to display the values from our database here. And to do that, we are going to come back to this page. I'm going to get rid of this thing. Let's add some padding here. And we want to first display something to say what this page is about, right? Usually, I just create a variable called title, contacts, description, manage your contacts, and then use SEO meta and pass in the title and description for the page. So here, we're going to have title, and below it, we're going to have the description. And of course, we need to add some styles to this. So we're going to say tracking, height, text XL about 3 or 2, make this semi-bold, give it some margin bottom. Let's see what that looks like. Not bad. That can work. For this one, we just want to mute the text a little bit. So dim the text a little bit, right? Below this, we're gonna add a divider. And this is gonna be of type dash. Let's give it some margin, top and bottom of 8. And that's what that looks like. So I don't think this type will actually work well because we're not using dash types anywhere else. So yeah, let's just get rid of this. Boom. Now we need a data table, right? So we're gonna go to this UI thing site here and go to data table. Where is it? Data table. Right. We already have it installed. So we actually just need a working example. I'm going to use this one because we're using the what's this called? The custom component inside. So I'm going to go to the code and I'm going to copy this. Control C. And I'm gonna paste that in. Squigglies because we don't have any of the options or columns in our script setup area. So let's just copy the rest. So come down here. I think we need this. So I'm going to import this right here. Right. And then I'm going to get the, well, not the users, because this user is going to come from our backend. I'm going to get the configuration. So the columns, so here to here is what I want. I'm gonna paste that in. And we still have a problem because we don't have this type in our project. Now for Strapi, I usually don't create my types manually. There's actually a good plugin for that. So I'm gonna go to the marketplace. I'm gonna search for schema to TS, this one right here. So this plugin allows, once it's installed, it will generate the types from the different collections that you have in your Strapi application. So let me just demonstrate how that works. So I'm going to copy the installation command. I'm going to stop this, going to install it. And then I'm going to copy and paste this in the configuration. This is the full configuration if you need it, by the way, but I don't need to configure any of these things. I just need this part. So I'm going to come to config. I'm there already, plugins. I'm going to paste that in. And if you're not going to pass any configuration to the plugin that you're adding, you can just set this to true. All right. So now I'm going to run development again. And you're going to see a whole lot of logs from this schema to TS plugin that we just added. So you can see up here where it detected that we're using Strapi 5 and it found the different collections that we have. So if we should come to the API folder inside of source and in our content types, we now have this new contact.ts file. This wasn't there before. So what this is, it generates the types for your collection, right? So I'm going to use the plain one because this is the format I like using. For Shopify, this generated type or interface is no longer needed because Shopify flattened the response. So in version 4, you would get, if you send a request to get data from your backend, it would come back looking like this. So the ID would be on the outside, and you have this attributes object, which would actually have the properties that you are looking for. And for each nested field, so like image, it would have data, and then it would be nested in attributes again. If you were connecting to another collection type, it would be the same mess all over again. In version 4, there's another plugin that I always use. It's called Transformers or Transformer, something like that. And what it would do, it would just flatten the response coming from your Strapi backend. But in version 5, thankfully, they actually remove this attributes thing and put all of the properties in the response like this. So we're going to copy this from our Strapi backend and we're going to paste it in our Nuxt application. So if we should find that types file again, we can just export this interface, right? And of course, we don't have this media type. So we're going to copy that one from our backend as well. So media, where is it? Yeah, media plain. So we're gonna copy that. We're gonna come over here, get rid of these plain parts. We don't have this media format type as well, so we're gonna get that. Here it is. And we just paste that in. Cool. So now, the other property that we need to add is this document ID because each collection now has this document ID. As soon as the author updates this plugin, I'm sure it will include all of these fields. But for now, we need this document ID. Let's see. This is optional. This also is optional. These two are optional. Yeah, and that should be it. This can be a string as well. Doesn't have to be a date object coming from the API. So now we have our contact type and we can now use it up here. So this custom component is coming from this column that we configured down here for data tables. The data tables documentation is huge and rather confusing. It took me a while to figure out how to get this to work, but got it to work nonetheless. And this is how you would include a custom component in your data table. So we're using this render, and you can see we passed actions to it. hash actions. And up here, we want to create a custom slot with the same string. Cool. The cell data that you get back is actually coming from data table. And if you should go to the documentation, datatables.net, getting started, and go down to the view section and then go to the view component. It actually explains how you can do it. You have different methods of doing it, and it tells you what this interface is. Here it says cell data is a string. It's actually not. I don't think it is. It's the whole object. Let me just go back to the code, and our cell data is going to be of type contact. Yeah. Let me just remove this click for now. Save that. And of course, we don't have these users. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to create a store that will be responsible for communicating with the contact endpoint in our Strapi application. So create a contact store. Let's get the hot module replacement in this store as well. Would use contact store, save that. And we're going to use the Strapi client to get back our data, right? So Strapi comes with some functions that you can use, like the find, the update. Let me just show it to you. So const use Strapi. So we have the find, update, delete, and all of that good stuff. The issue that I have with this is the types returned. So the functions here, they actually return the data in the type prescribed by Strapi 4. In order to use a custom type, you have to actually create a client. So you can actually use the Strapi client here and call this client. And then you can create an endpoint. So my endpoint that I'm going to hit in the store is called contacts. And now you can start making the calls to the Strapi backend. Before doing so, I'm gonna store the records that I get back from the Strapi backend in this ref right here. And I'm gonna say const get. Now this get function is going to just make a call to get all of the records from our backend. So what I usually do in larger projects is I create a strapi.d.ts file, and I'm going to export an empty object. And here I'm going to actually import a type from the Strapi module. So if you go Nuxt Strapi, should be able to say type here, and I think this is going to be the Strapi the meta Strapi for response meta, right? And I'm going to declare module, and I think it's the Nuxt Strapi module that I want to override something on. Let me see. No, I'm going to declare global because I'm creating my own types. So one call find interface, find many, and this is going to take a type T, and it's going to return this shape. And I also want to do the find one. This one will also have a meta, Not sure why the meta is there, but yeah. And now with this in place, I can just use this and this with my client. So I can say const res is equal to await client passed in my find many type, pass in the type that it should be, which is contact. Now I want to import that. And I'm going to hit the endpoint, and I'm going to allow the user to pass in options. And these options are going to be the request params from Strapi, but not this one. I actually needed version 4. Yeah. Strapi 4 request params. This is going to be optional. I'm going to come here, set the method to get, and then pass in the params like that. Now, when I get a response, I want to set the record value to data, and then I'm going to return the full response. Now, in order to use this in our application, we have to return get and records. Yeah. So now that we have this wired up to get the contacts from our backend, I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a call with use sync data. Right? I'm going to allow it to generate its own key, but down here I'm going to say use contact store dot get. Right? And this data, I don't actually need any of these. I can actually remove this, right? And then I'm going to get the values from that store. So use contact store and extract records and rename them to contacts. Now I can actually go ahead and pass the contacts here. Now, if I should save this and go look at my website, I can see where we have the data table here, and we can do the custom filtering. We can show different columns. We can copy the records. We have none. We can print them. We can download it via PDF. All manner of madness, right? The only issue is this isn't the the headers that we want on our table. The table should look like, where is it? Okay, let's just give Strapi a second. It's reloading. Right. We want our table to have this shape, right? So if we come to the content type builder, we're going to add these properties to the columns. So here we want first name, and we're going to set the responsive priority for this to 0.1 because we want this column to always be displayed over all the other columns. Let's copy this down, change it to last name. We can remove this one, or we can set it to 2. We want email. Oops, delete these. Do I need to? Let's say email, phone number, and we don't have these. And we probably want to display the avatar. And to do that, I'm going to follow the same pattern, right? So I'm gonna copy this, bring it up. The title is gonna be image. Let's move this. It's not searchable or orderable. give it a name of image, and we're going to render it as image. So now we can come here and we're going to say image, and we're going to check to see if we have an image, right? So we're going to say vif vif cell data dot image and cell data dot image dot URL. Then we're gonna use the avatar and we're gonna display that image. Yeah. If not, we're gonna just display an icon. So vls, and we're gonna say UI fallback, your avatar fallback, and I think we can just display an icon here, right? So if we should save this, we have the new columns. I think I want to add the created at column and sort by that value. So let's see, let's add created at. And I want to render, I'm going to return use date format. And this is coming from view use, and it's going to be month, this format, dot value. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to sort by this value by default, right? So it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's see, can I set a default sort? No, I guess not. I'm going to then tell Strapi to sort by created at in the descending manner. So let's save that. And let's just see if this works. We're gonna add a few contacts. So contact manager, create, let's say Rick, Smith, some weird phone number, with at test.com. We're gonna save this. We're gonna go refresh, and here it is. The image isn't being displayed. That's weird. Wonder what's causing that. Nuxt icon. Oh, I see what the problem is. So inside of the table, I'm not able to render the Nuxt icon, right? I've had this issue before, and what I usually do is I create another icon component. So I'd install iconify view. So I'd install this. Taking a sweet time. Right. So that's installed, and then I'd create my own icon component. So it would be this, and I think I need to import icon from iconify view, and here I can just use it. And then I think it requires some prop from this thing. So I should be able to say icon props. I'm not sure which one of them, but I think this is the one. So I'm going to define props. Props. No, not props. Just props. And I'm going to bind the props to this. Ta-da. And now in my data table here, I'm going to use UI icon. And this should represent the icon that I just created. But this UI icon component is not expecting a name. It's actually expecting an icon property. So if I should save that, this thing gets reloaded. Now I have this as an icon thing here. I'm not sure how to set the default sort order. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, that wasn't hard to find with a simple Google search away. So what we need to do is set order in the configuration down here. So if you say order, what we want to do is find the index of the column that we want to order on. And what I like to do is say columns dot find index for the created at where the data is equal to this. Yeah. Save it. And if you come back to the page and reload, then it's ordered by created at by default. It should be created at. Yeah. For the buttons, I don't think I need all of these buttons, in all honesty. Do I? I don't think I need all of them, but I'm gonna leave them there. Cool. So because this person has no image, then we get our little placeholder. Sadly, when hovering, we can see where this is blended in with the background of this thing. Yeah. So we're gonna add a little border to it. Let's see, class border, reload, so it gets re-rendered, and that's a little bit better. At least we can. Nope, it's not better. It's not better at all. Unless we're gonna do border primary, which might look weird. Yeah, that's better. So now what we want to do is we want to be able to edit and create our own contacts from the front end, right? So back in the code, we are going to first make this flex, right? And then let's make this flex column, gap 4, and then on medium screens and up, we're going to flex row, justify between items center on medium only. So yeah, save that. And down here, we want to add a button, right? Now this button is going to create a new contact. So let's leave it like that. Can make it a little bit smaller. And it's going to go to admin, contacts, create. Of course, we don't have this page as yet. So let me just create it. Nice. And I'm going to save that. And let's see what that looks like. Yep, we have our create button. And let's just jump into creating a contact. So if we go to our create page, it's blank currently. I'm just going to copy everything from here, paste it over here. We need this part. We need a title, description. We don't need this anymore. So let's leave that part. We can delete this as well. Don't need that. Can close that part. We can delete this part as well. And this is going to say create contact. Create a new contact. You can delete this. Boom. So now if we should go to this page, yep, there we go. We can create a new contact. So we're gonna add a form here. Right? So form, no action, field set. Give this field set a class grid with columns, gap of 5, and let's give it a max width as well. So max width MD or SM. SM is fine. So we're gonna get the input for name. So it's gonna be first name, label first name. That's required. We need one for last name, we need one for email, and we need one for phone. Let's save that, see what this looks like. Good. And then we need one for what's it called? Image. The image one, yeah, let's add one for image. Image is going to be of type. Let's see. No, we actually need to add a different component for that. We can add the file input. I think there's a file input component. So running the add command from UI thing. Let me see. There is a file input, of course. So we're gonna add this. Do we want to install these things? No. I think they're installed already. This should restart the server. And then we should be able to add that field. Nice. Nice, 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 nice. Now we can add our button. Type submit, create. Let's see. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's see. If we should wire this up, we're going to say cons, use form. Of course, we need a validation schema for our contact. So we're going to have to go to our validations file here, export cons contact schema. That's going to be an object with first name, last name, email, phone, and an image. Now the image will be of type, I think mix is what we want. Mix is going to be required. Do we want it to be required? Yeah, let's make it required. Let's put required here. And I think that's all we need right now. So contact schema, we're going to pass this to the tooltype schema helper function. And we're going to extract the handle submit from this right here. So now we can say const submit is equal to handle submit. That's going to be an asynchronous value. Let's remove that typing right there because we already have type help. So we're just going to log the values here, right? And I'm not going to enter these values manually all the time for testing. So I'm going to add Baker, right, as a dev dependency. So that was Alt click to install it as a dev dependency. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to import Baker, and I'm going to call it set values. Get the set values from the use from composable, and on mount, so v mounted, I'm going to check if I'm in development. So if imports is it meta dev? Yes. So if I'm in development, I'm going to say set values, and I'm going to set these values. So first name is going to be from person. Last name is going to be from person as well. This is the phone number, and I think the image is the only thing that I won't be able to set with Faker. So let's just see what we have here, right? So when the page gets loaded, I have this validation here saying that image is required, but I have some fake data to work with. This email should be lowercase, right? Or instead of setting it there, I really should set it here. Transform v dot lowercase. Yep. That way, even if the user enters a capitalized email, it gets transformed before going to our backend. So we have a phone number, we have email. If we try to create this contact, it will tell us that this is needed. Let me just get an image real quick from downloads. Some ID of the sort. And this is not working as expected, of course, because I didn't add the submit handler up here. So this should call the submit function. Let's try that again. So pick an image. If I log this, then I see where I have the image here. It's a file. I have the email, first name, last name on phone. Good. Now, in order to get this to work properly with Strapi, we have to first create the contact record, then upload the image and connect it to the created record. Cool. So how do we do that? First, we need to create the create method here. So I'm going to say const create is equal to partial contact. I'm going to say I want to get client. This is going to be find one of type contact, and it's going to go to the endpoint, and the body is going to be data like this, right? We can just leave it like this. Let's see, what else do we need? We need to change the method. It should be a post request, and we want to return whatever the response is. Yeah. Create this, that should work. So we're gonna do create, right? So back in our create form right here, we should be able to, let's see, turn this into a try catch. So try catch, and we're gonna say await const res is equal to await use contact store, create, pass the values in, What's the problem here? So everything except image. Um, mm, how do I omit image from this? So image is going to be no, no, can't do that. That sucks. So I need to remove image. I can either just pass in the values manually like this. The first name, last name, email, phone, and that'll be fine. I'm gonna say use Sonar dot success, contact created successfully, and then I'm going to navigate to my contacts page. Yeah, if there's an error, of course, fail to create contact. And we can provide more context to the user if we want to. But after creating this contact, I want to get the ID and then upload the image for this contact. And in the Strapi documentation, for upload, I think, let's see, if we want to upload a file for an entry, we have to use this format, right? So we have to send the form data to our backend to the upload endpoint, and then pass these values in with the form data. Cool. So here we're gonna say, await use Strapi client. Um, how do I do this? No, there's a const client. And equal user Strapi client. We're gonna say await client, and we're sending the request to upload. Was it uploads or upload? Upload. Okay. So it's upload, and we want to ensure that it's a post request. And the body should be the form data. So we're going to create this form data here. So we're going to say const fd equal to new form data. Then we're going to append the different properties. So the files is going to be this image. We're getting some type error here, and I'm guessing it's because we added this as mix. Probably just need to say that it's a file. Yeah. So no TypeScript will shut up. Next we need to append. Let's see what else we need to append. We need to append the ref ID. And this is just the ID that comes back in this response. So it's going to be res dot data dot ID dot string. I think we have to stringify it. So let's see. What's the problem here? Number what? This is a string. There we go. So that will shut up. The next part that we want to append is the ref, and this is just the UUID. So this value right here, oh, go on. This value right here, copy that. Ref. We can just put this in a string. And then let's see, what else do we need? The source, no, not necessary. The field. So this is what we need. We need a field, and the field that we want it to be linked to our image. Yeah. Now for this ref ID, I'm not sure if it wants the document ID or the ID that's returned here. But either ways, we're gonna test it out and see if it actually works. So now let's create. Let me close this and this. Let's create another contact. Yeah. With this and create, and it created the contact, but the image wasn't linked. So let me go to the media library. You can see where the image was uploaded, but it wasn't linked to the contact. Yeah. And I think that is because, oh, well, it's actually linked. Okay. That's weird. Why is it not being displayed here? Maybe I did something wrong. Maybe. Let me inspect my store. So 2 records. The second one. I know what the problem is. So in order for the image to show up, I need to actually send the populate request here. So I'm sending the sort param. I need to tell it to also populate the image. So if I do this and run that again, I'm getting this error in the console. And that's because the image is not being prefixed with the URL for my Strapi backend. And to fix that, there was a plugin called, I think it's Media Prefix or something like that. I'm not sure if it's compatible with version 5 of Strapi, but I'm going to install it and see if it works. So let's just go to our Strapi backend. We're going to stop the application. Stop. Okay. Guess I didn't copy this properly. Copy. Paste that in. And in order for this to work, we need to enable it in our plugin. So copy that too. Go to the plugins and we're going to set media prefix to true. And one last thing that we need to do is set the URL in our config server file. Yeah. So we can either set the media prefix environment variable, or we can set our URL in our server file. So I'm going to go with this method right here and go to the config server.ts file. I'm going to paste that in. And for my URL, I'm going to find the .env file and I'm going to add this value here as well. Yeah. Cool. So now if I should run the application again, let's give that some time to start up. So now that the application is up again, let's just go to our front end and see if it will actually work. And it did. So that plugin that we just added, like I said, all it does is whenever the data, whenever you have some media file that should come back from the backend, it just populates, it just prefixes the URL with the value that we added in our environment variable. Cool. So it attaches this part to your URL because usually this is the URL that comes back for any file or image. Upload / image name or file name. So now that's being displayed here. So we can create a contact. Can add another image. Let's just work with this one. or Strapi. Save that. And we have our image here. Why does it look like this? Oh, there we go. So now we want to add the editing functionality, right? Let me see if I print this. This is what it looks like. Okay, that's fine. Let's add the ability to edit these things, right? Because currently clicking the edit button does nothing. I'm going to remove this select as well. I don't want that. So let me go ahead and remove the select. Yes. All right. So now when we try to edit something, I want to say, if you click on this thing, you should use a router, push, and go to admin contacts. It's going to be edit and the document ID. So we're going to get cell data, that document ID. Cool. Of course, we don't have this page as yet. So we're going to come over here, create a new page. It's going to be called edit. And it's going to take an ID. And then we have the index page. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to copy everything from this page right here. And we are going to modify it. So the title is going to be edit contact. You should say something like edit this contact, right? I don't think we want to use the same validation for this one because we're going to remove this field. Or let's not remove it. Let's just change the label to new image, right? This is going to say update. Don't need to set fake values because we're editing a record. So let's remove this as well. Let's see, what else do we need to get rid of? Set values, we don't need that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get the route. So use route, and we're gonna pass the name of the route here, right? And then we're gonna use sync data, and we're gonna get the information for this contact. So in our contact store, we're gonna create a get by ID, right? And we are going to return the find one for the contact that's passed in. It's a get request. Let's also add the ability to pass in for parameters. And I think I want to set the default to populate image. Yeah. So we're going to set params to OPT, save that, and we're going to send this back. So now over here, we can say use contact store dot get by ID. It's going to be routes params ID. Let's just save that. Do I need to refresh? Do I need to refresh? Probably. So let's call this contact, and then we're going to set the default value. So the initial values is going to be this contact right here. Of course, oh, not contact dot value dot data is what we need. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, let's first look at this thing. So now let's refresh this page. F5, click on edit. Yeah, and our contact gets populated based on this document ID, right? So this is what we have. Of course, for this new image, if the contact already had an image, we're going to display it at the top. If not, we'll just display an empty avatar. Cool. We have that code somewhere already. It's right here. So we're just going to copy this, come over here, and at the top of this thing, we can say if contact dot data dot image, and it's the same thing. Contact dot data image dot URL. We're gonna say display it. All right. Else, we want to display this icon. So let's see. We have this right here. We can make it a bit bigger. Um, so class size is gonna be about 20. Size 20 for this too. I don't think we need a border here. Let's see. Whoa. Why does it look like this? That's weird. Can this just be, do I need to put it in a div too? No better. Okay. It's weird. Let me see. Is it the size? Definitely the size. Not sure what this size is being applied to. Let's see. Class. Yep. Okay. So if I do, will that work? Nope. Apparently not. Yeah, this is strange. But anyways, let's not dwell on that. It is what it is. It is what it is. I'll class to this. Body on top of it. All right, something's definitely wrong. There's no margin. Maybe I need to restart the application. Yeah, let's restart the application. So our application is up and running again. Let's see if that fixed the issue. And it did. Well, at least for the margin. I'm not sure about the size issue. Let's see. Ah, there we go. There we go. Size it. Yeah, that's good. The size of 20 here too. Good, good. So now if there's no image, we'll display that placeholder, and if there is, we'll just display that actual image. Cool. This cannot be required. I don't think we want to require them to update a new image or to add a new image value. So we can change this to update, and it's going to be the contact schema shape, except for this will no longer be required. So this can actually be, this is optional now or nullable, right? So let's save that and remove the required from here, right? So let me see now if I should update this without sending an image. Let me fix that. Let's just comment out all of this and log the values. Let's see what we get. And of course, so we get everything that we initially set in the object. And this is the tricky part. No, I will need to check if this is of type file, if this is a file, because if it's an object, it means that the image exists. But if it's empty, wait, what's happening here? Boom, boom, boom. Edit. If it's empty, this shouldn't be required. Why is this required? No, it shouldn't be required. I didn't update the schema. Of course, should be update contact schema. So save that. Come back over here. This is still saying image is required. Yep. I shouldn't have to. Can't I override it like this? No. There we go. So now it's optional. So if I should do this, I'll get a log where image is null. So now I need to check to see if this image thing was passed in. How will I do that? First, let me create the update function in our contact store. I think we need to do that first. So const update. We're gonna get the ID, partial contact object, and we are going to send this request. It's a put request. Yes. So this is what we need. So back over here, we need to do this. Update. We're sending the route that params at ID, and then the values that we want to update. So that's the first thing. We're gonna display this thing. So now what we want to do is check to see if the user has an image already. So we're gonna say if values dot image, that's the first thing. So if there's an image, we're gonna say if the values dot image is an instance of a file, we want to first check to see if the person had the image. So how are we going to do that? We're going to use the contact dot value up here to delete that image. So if image is present and it's an instance of a file, I'm going to say if contact value data image exists, then we are going to send this request to delete the file. So in the Strapi documentation, the delete endpoint sits at upload files and the ID. So it's upload files and the ID, right? So the ID is going to be contact value data image ID, and I'm not sure if this is going to be the document ID or the actual ID of the file, but let's see. So send the delete request to delete the image if a new file is uploaded. Then we're gonna do all of this magic. So we're gonna get this carried up here on comment. So the reference ID is no longer going to be from the response. We can use it. Do we want to use it, or we just want to use the route param? We're just going to use the ID. So we're going to leave this the same, upload it, and see if this works. So if that did what I think it did, we should be able to monitor the network tab, right? And let's just change this to Cartel, update, and that was successful. So now we should have, okay, Strapi is restarting again or reloading. Yeah, so Carter, that's updated. Cool. Now I want to try the image part. So let's see. Let's use this image and upload. And we can see where both requests were sent. I'm going to have to refresh this so that it reloads the image. But let's see. If I should come here and go to this Rick person, here's the image. Nice. So what I need to do, first of all, is refresh this thing. So I can delete this and call the refresh function. So up here, I'm gonna wait, refresh. All right. Now we can see we have that there. Let me go ahead and delete this, save. Can probably delete it from the media as well. Reload that page, no image. Select that, upload, and we have the image now, right? We can, again, I actually need to clear this. So let me see, I think I have to call the set values right here. So after refreshing, I want to do set values and set that again. What's this? Okay. For an empty object. Oh no, the problem is I should be passing res, right? Res that data. This is the response from the API, but I don't want to do that. I want to use the actual value that's returned from Nuxt, the user sync call up here. So that's fine. Um, yeah, let's reload that. Um, let's try replacing this image with something else. Update that. So this new image got added to this, but was the old image deleted? Yes, it was. Good. So now we can update this thing. I just need to reset this. I'm not sure if it actually did reset it, and I'm just not seeing it in the UI. But let's take a look at vvalidate. Initial object. Yeah, it actually did reset it. So it's just a matter of um, clearing this input field. How do I do that? Is there a way to do that? I'm really not sure how I'd actually go about just clearing this. Probably I'd have to add some ref of the sort. Let's see, ref uh, image input, and then I could create it down here. Const image, image input, HTML input element, and then after the reset, I could say something like image input that value is equal to that. Is that how you do that? Undefined. Oh, target. Isn't it target? I think that's how you do it. I'm not sure. Oh, that's wrong. What's this saying? Okay. Okay. Remove that. This may break. Ooh, fail to create contact. I think the issue is definitely this. Let me see. How do I clear input view? Let's see. Stack Overflow. Oh, it's just value setting the value to none. That's it. Reset. Uh, okay. Let's try this. So I think this is what I did. Right? Right. So now if we come here and we upload another image, it's still not clearing. Okay. I'm not sure how to clear this, but you guys get the gist of it. This is how, this is what I think a full project would look like with Nuxt. For Strapi, I might have missed a few things. I'm really not sure if I did, but you guys can comment and let me know what I missed. Um, if you have any other suggestions, let me know as well so I can demonstrate how you go about doing it with Nuxt. Um, Strapi 5 definitely something to check out. I think Strapi is doing a great job. Really love the CMS, and coupling it with Nuxt is a breeze. All the plugins for Strapi aren't up to date as yet with version 5, but in time they'll actually get there. Some of them work, some of them don't. As for the data table, like I said, the documentation is really hard to dig through, but if you take the time and dig through it, I'm sure you'll find what you need there. Until next time, have a good one, guys. Let me just log out of this thing. Yeah, that works.